It's going to be an interesting one. Definitely a topic that I think about often, and I'm restructuring within myself to execute on and analyze and actually hold back some actions and hold back some thoughts and hold back some words. And it has to do with telling people exactly what it is, but then expecting them to change. Expecting them to change. Calling them out and saying, hey, this. And expecting them to change because you called them out. Calling them out on their lies and expecting them to change. Right? You know, there's hardly a case where you tell someone something and they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna change. Like, no one does that. You know, you don't call someone out and corner them and say, boom, 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 make your point, the point hits, and they go, I'm gonna change. Sometimes they just resent you for just calling them out. Sometimes they know they gotta change, but there's such a deep emotional attachment to a scenario, a person, a situation, or whatever, and they're just not gonna make the decision, so they're not gonna change, basically. And it's a lot deeper. That's where the compassion comes from. That's where the compassion comes from, or it was taught, right? It's having that understanding, having that empathy that people are in different scenarios. So they just keep lying. They just keep prolonging it. They just keep, you know, beating around the bush, and sometimes not even taking accountability. Not taking accountability, like, hey, I'm wrong here, I gotta fix this. And they just keep lying or just keep sweeping it under the rug. And, you know, that's their way. And sometimes we want to say things and do things and retaliate and all these things, thinking that, yeah, they're gonna change once I do this, and they're gonna change once I say that, and that's usually not the case. So this talk is about going back within oneself and saying, what do I gotta do to change? What do I gotta do to change my ways, to elevate a higher version into the right way, right? Because we're projecting it out to someone, it's like, hey, you need to change into the right way. Cool, what about oneself? When does oneself change into a better way, right? It's easy to point the finger and talk to other people. It is, it's a lot easier. But when it's to oneself, it's a little more difficult. You know, the excuses come out, this and that, right? And it's easy not to hold yourself accountable. Very easy. You don't gotta hold yourself accountable. For what? You ain't gotta hold yourself accountable. But when other people are doing it, oh, it's a problem. It's a problem. Because it's like, even though you know you're wrong, even though you know that what you're doing is not right, you're not willing to let go of being wrong. You're not willing to let go of accepting that you're wrong, or being accountable. Being accountable. And what is accountability? What I learned what accountability is being answerable. Being answerable. That's where that term crickets comes from. Right? When it's time to speak up and say, hey, like, check, and it's time to answer, and you don't answer, you're not accountable. You're not accountable. You're not answering. You're not replying. You're not speaking up to the fact that, hey, yeah, I messed up. I gotta own it, and I gotta do something to fix it. You don't do that. That's not having accountability. It's tough, because I think we all go through stages in our lives where we're not accountable. We're not answering. We're not actioning to make something right. I've been there. I know I have. you know? And then now when we meet other people who are doing it to us, right, we expect them to be accountable, and they're not. And that's life, right? That's life, the whole circle, the circle of life, basically. And so, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And so, you know, we just here every day, just battling through it, right? Certain scenarios come up, certain scenarios are just not right. Maybe you want to put a border, a boundary, and people are still going to do what they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to stand up for yourself and just be like, you know, let's do something. Let's do something. You know? It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's something a lot of people go through. You know, and friends, family, you know, the community, the neighborhood, it's always something, always something. But I think, you know, it's here for a reason, I would have to say. It exists for a reason. There is some logical, emotional, energetic, like, connection with this. Because it's like, it's the universe makes no accidents. There is no accidents with this. Everyone goes through it, every culture, every race, every country, every city. The people living in those areas are going through it. It's part of life. And, you know, we go day to day just, you know, going through different experiences or even scenarios that mount up to experiences. And they're there to teach us, man. It's no accident. It's no accident. So now what I've been reflecting on, and I'm gonna tell y'all straight up what it is that I know in my internal soul, I am not to respond and react the old way, the lower vibrational way. But damn, do I want to. For some reason, it's programmed in me to respond and react the old way, like something's gonna change. Like once I act this way, once I say that insult, they're gonna change. Once I prove a point, once I hit them with that logical in their explanations and their actions, and, you know, you want to have your cake and eat it too, boom, and drop it in their face. Like, that's the old way. Just arguing and shoving it down their throat like they're gonna change it. And it's just like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You know, that's the low vibrational way. There has to be a different way, and I know there is, and that's what this video is about. It's like, how do we respond differently? How do we walk in and approach it and handle it in a different way where we don't even expect a result? Like, I'm already telling myself, like, whatever I do, like, don't expect a result. There's no result to expect. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're going to continue to beat around the bush over and over, and there's something you can do about it. All you can do is change yourself. All you can do is change yourself. And yeah, that's where the boundaries come in. That's where you cut people off. That's where you remove yourself from certain situations. You know, and it's like, it's a tough one because I have to take some accountability, because I've heard people talk about these other people, that them this and them that, and they should do this and they should do that, and yada 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 yada. You know, the list goes on. And when it comes to them, all of a sudden, it's the crickets, right? Now they don't want to take accountability for themselves, but they had no problem yapping about them other people. And that was something too that I had to come across and learn, because I've noticed this repetitive pattern, was that when you let people talk about other people, you bring that energy about. You are inviting that energy. So what I realize is, it's my job to lead myself, lead the energy, and say, hey, we're not going to talk about this. I'm not going to listen to this. Change the subject. I change the subject. Or you disconnect yourself from that person because they're obviously holding and harboring that energy they're talking about that other people have. Well, you're focused on it. You're attracting it. You're magnifying it. And basically, you know, if you're doing that, that's what you're carrying. And that's what the universe, God, source, creator try to teach me is that, hey, you got to be a leader and cut this stuff off. You're inviting it in. You're allowing it to happen. And then don't be surprised when the tables turn and now you're holding them accountable to what they were talking about. They don't want to do it. Now they want to run. Now they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to be answerable. So let this be a lesson. And I had to sit down and tell myself, honestly, like, I got to be more accountable. I got to be more responsible. I got to be more of a leader. Like, I neglected being a leader. I'll tell you what it was. I neglected being a leader because it made it seem like I was confusing it with being like self-centered or being selfish, or I confused it with being like controlling. And that's not what leadership is. Leadership is not controlling. Leadership is not hijacking and selfishness. Being a leader is taking action on what needs to be done. Being a leader is making that energy move in the direction that's best for everyone. And that was my lesson. That was my lesson. And I'm glad to learn it. I'm glad to accept it. I'm glad to welcome it. Being a leader. So in these scenarios now that are coming up where people don't want to take accountability, or, you know, there was times I didn't want to take accountability. And I want forgiveness from the universe, from the source, from the creator. Say, hey, forgive me for not taking accountability in these situations. Forgive me for, you know, hurting these people or doing this and doing that. And it's not that bad, you know, I'm still able to sleep at night. But still, you know, you want to hold yourself to a higher standard, to a better quality. And, you know, it starts with you taking accountability and taking action. And now I'm in situations where people are not taking accountability. And now what do I got to do? I got to do that thing that's called having a little bit of compassion and understanding, but also learning when and where do I got to put in my my boundary. You know, when do I say something? When do I say nothing? You know, do I keep looking the other way? Now, you know, it's all these little things that it's a new level for me. It's a new level, and it's, you know, it's going to be a new level for you as well. You know, maybe you got to start taking accountability. Maybe you've been taking accountability and you're welcome with people who are not. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to respond low vibrationally with insults and saying, you know, all these things to like make them change and have this expectation that they're going to change and they're not? And we've all been around people that, like, they always say, oh yeah, I'm going to change, and they don't. And then now we want to hold them accountable. Like, hey, you said you're going to change and you're not. And it's like, that's what they say. But their actions are something else. Their actions are different. So, something to learn. You know, it's part of the process. You know, it's not a straight line. It's not a straight line. We got to take them hits. We got to take them blows. We got to hit that wall, confusion in the maze, and turn around and go another way. You know, it's part of the game of life. You know, at some point, I got to be thankful I'm able to play. I got to be thankful I'm able to play. I'm able to just go through it, operate through it, you know. So that's what it is. I really hope this conversation, this topic really shines some light on some people who hears it and, you know, do some internal work on their stuff, on their obstacles, on their situations that are coming up. So, you know, we're all working through it. We're all trying to do the best we can. We all in this game, and we just get better. You know, we find different routes. You know, try different options, try different obstacles, different place to run, excuse me. But yeah, all right, I'll leave it at that. 2 months away from the New Year, so hopefully, you know, we got to get a head start on these changes, like super head start on these changes, right? Like the changes that actually get results that we want and we're looking for, and the breath, the fresh air that we're looking for. So again, internal work, those thoughts, those actions, those words, you know, may we get in alignment and get the results that we're looking for, that our heart calls for. That's what we're here for. All right, y'all. I'll let y'all be. On to the next. Peace.